Good evening. It is Wednesday, December 6, 2023, and welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board. This is a Town Board voting meeting where we have 7 items, followed by a work session where we have 7 items. I call this meeting to order, and I ask that our Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, please do a roll call attendance.
Councilman Baranowski?
Here.
Councilman Lombardi? Here. Councilwoman McDonough? Here. Councilman Schanil?
Here.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Here. If everyone would please rise, face the flag. Councilman Baranowski will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to recognize the sacrifices of our men and women serving in the armed forces. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone in the audience, resident or business, that would like to get up 5 minutes for public comment? No, seeing as how there's no one that would like to speak. Moving on to our first item. It's making appointment to the Town of Carmel Environmental Conservation Board. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that one?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby appoints Emily Lavelli to the Town of Carmel Environmental Conservation Board for a term commencing immediately and expiring June 13, 2025. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Schanil. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Schanil?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes, we want to welcome Emily aboard. She was an intern with our engineer over the summer. She's a Jasper, and she's a really fine family, good person. Our second resolution is accepting proposal of Public Sector HR Consultants, LLC, for Human Resources Consulting Services. Councilman Schanil, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel accepts the proposal of Public Sector HR Consultants, LLC, of Glenville, New York, for Human Resource Consulting Services, dated November 9, 2023, in form as attached hereto and made a part hereof. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in a form acceptable to the Town Council, Town Supervisor Michael Cazzari is hereby authorized to sign the aforesaid proposal and any necessary related documentation in connection therewith. Be it further resolved that the Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by McDonough and Lombardi. Can we have a roll call on that?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Schanil?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. I can remember using Ronnie Travers all the way back. I think she started with Ann and Connie Monday in the olden days, and it's a really good firm. I look forward to working with them. Our third resolution is authorizing requests for proposals. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Ann Pasquarello, Chief of Staff, to request for proposals for improvements and updates to the Town of Carmel's website. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 3 passes. Our fourth resolution is authorizing rescheduling of a public hearing. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the rescheduling of a public hearing at Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, on Wednesday, January 17th, 2024, at 7:00 p.m. or soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law amending Chapter 111 of the Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Peddling and Soliciting. And be further resolved, the Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, is hereby authorized and instructed to publish and post the necessary notices in the official newspapers of the town and on the town bulletin board regarding this public hearing. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Baranowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 4 passed. Our 5th resolution is authorizing settlement of litigation. Councilman Baranowski, could you read that, please?
Whereas there is currently pending in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, under docket number 18 CV 2861, a certain lawsuit entitled Hawhee versus County of Putnam et al. And whereas a proposed settlement of the litigation has been negotiated by Kenneth Pitkoff of Morris, Duffy, Alonzo, Faley, and Pitkoff, counsel for the town of Carmel in that matter, who has recommended approval of the proposed settlement. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation as recommended, and be it further resolved that Kenneth Pitkoff or any other authorized member associate of Morris, Duffy, Alonzo, Faley, and Pitkoff is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the town of Carmel any stipulation, and order of settlement and reflecting the terms of the settlement. Before I offer up the resolution, Mike, do you or Greg, do you want to provide any additional color around this?
I
Counsel?
defer to council.
Oops.
I don't know.
This is a matter that's been pending in the district court regarding a malicious prosecution, false arrest case that had been filed some years ago in connection with the prosecution of an arson offense in Putnam County in 2007. That was tried in 2008, and the individual was convicted approximately 9 years into a sentence. His conviction was overturned or vacated, and this litigation then commenced against the town of Carmel, the county of Putnam, and the Carmel Fire District, Carmel Fire Department, I should say. And it went on for a period of about 5 years. And it's the state of the original defendant has handled it because the original defendant passed. And it was up for trial early in November. And NYMER had appointed counsel to defend and represent the town of Carmel's interests. And after some discussions and some mediation engaged between the parties, counsel contacted the supervisor and myself, I would say about 3 weeks ago, with the terms of a general proposed settlement that for the town of Carmel would only result in you paying your $1,000 deductible. The remainder of the settlement proceeds that are contributed by the town of Carmel will be from your policy proceeds. And all 3 defendants are contributing to the settlement. And he is asking that the town board approve the settlement pursuant to the terms of our liability policy. So that's why it's on the agenda. And that's about as colorless a version of it as I can give you.
Thank you,
Thank
counsel.
you.
Thanks.
I offer this resolution as read.
I'll second.
Second it?
Sure. Can you get a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yeah.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Schanil?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 5 passed. Our 6th resolution is authorizing entry into license agreement with the County of Westchester. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Resolved, the town board of town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, hereby authorizes entry into a license agreement with the County of Westchester for the radio and antenna equipment for use by the town of Carmel Police Department. Said agreement to be in form and substance as attached hereto and made part hereof, and be further resolved, the town supervisor, Michael Cazzari, is hereby authorized to execute such agreement or any other documentation necessary to accept the terms set forth in the referenced license agreement. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Schanil. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Schanil?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes, number 6 passed. So in my day, there was a copper phone line that ran this. It was called the hotline. And thanks to technology and them removing all the copper, now it's a radio frequency thing. And
I remember the hotline.
you remember the hotline?
Westchester County, right?
Yeah. So that's what that was about. Our 7th resolution is authorizing the purchase of a truck. Councilman Schanil?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel and upon the recommendation and request of Town Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni, in his memo dated December 4th, 2023, hereby authorizes the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 4x4 from Robert Green Truck and Auto, vendor number 3608, through Onondaga County Bid Award Contract number 0010808, at a cost not to exceed $42,580.66, in accordance with the price quote dated December 1st, 2023, and a 7.5 Fisher SD snowplow from Burpquip, vendor number 709, at a cost not to exceed $6,125, in accordance with the price quote dated December 1st, 2023. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Michael S. Cazzari, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to accept the proposed authorized herein, and be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baranowski.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Councilman Schanil.
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari.
Yes. So, announcements. Tomorrow is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Our VFW post will be having a ceremony 11 o'clock at the post on East Lake. Memorial lighting ceremony is on the Sunday the 10th at 4 p.m. up on the shores of Lake Lenida. And tomorrow at sundown is the first day, right, of Hanukkah. And next week, Wednesday the 13th, that'll be our last voting meeting of the year. Anybody comments? No?
Nice job by the Carmel Civic Association on the Holiday on the Lakes. It was a great, huge turnout, very nice. And thank also the Knights of Columbus for their hospitality, and the Ladies Auxiliary in their Christmas village.
First round.
Yes. Did you want to mention the football team?
And the football team, of course. They didn't win, but congratulations, they made it once again up to Syracuse. They really had a great season, and I wish them all the best in next season.
Yeah, amazing young men.
Amazing.
So can we get a motion to adjourn the voting meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded by McDonough. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ian.
very much, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
So a motion to open up the work session.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. First off, I ask the board to review the minutes from November 1st and the 15th that our clerk, Ann Spofford, was kind enough to send to you. The first item on the work session is from Kempsey Engineering. Consider request to access property to perform a freshwater wetland restoration work, Carmel Sewer District Number 2, wastewater treatment plant. We have a correspondence from the PE. They are looking to do work on a property, 70 Old Route 6. It was approved quite a few years ago, and now to get their wetlands permit and to do work, they need an easement from us, the town, to cross over to do construction and debris handling and recovering, for the construction of a demolition, debris handling and recovery facility. Permits are existing for the freshwater wetlands and on the western property, on the site where Michael's Brook is, they need to clear debris, fallen trees, which they've given drawings and other plans which are attached in this quite thick packet. There was I understand from legal counsel, there was a permit, and we did have an easement before with the old people, with the old owner, and now we have to renew it because it expired?
The easement's temporary that's being sought, to the best of my understanding, is that correct? So, I don't, my understanding is from what's in the approvals and what needs to be done, there's not an easement in effect. The only body that has the authority to grant even a temporary easement is the town board. So the applicant can describe what needs to be done. I can draft the easement agreement, and whatever exhibits in terms of the location can be provided either by the applicant or engineering.
Do we
All right.
want the applicant to?
I think, yeah.
Eugene Kempe, Kempe Engineering, 470 Old Route 6 LLC. We're requesting two things, the actual physical easement, temporary easement to do the construction work, the restoration work in about a tenth of an acre portion of the site, in the north west corner of the site, and also a letter from the sewer district to the Department of Environmental Conservation saying we have permission to access the site, because that's one of our permit conditions in the DEC wetland permit, which has been in the permit conditions for probably 10 years, because we just recently renewed the permit back in August, and the first question that while we were working on permit conditions with the department, the first question to the DEC is, did you ever get a letter from the town on it? So those are the two things we're setting. The easement, I've sent it to, what's his name? The former engineer who did the work for Thompson originally, that we took the work from, that my client who hired me, I got brought in because I'm a solid waste consultant. That's my expertise, that helped design the building portion of the project based on a site plan. And they had, Putnam had already submitted an easement plan describing the easement to the town, which we attached to what we submitted to the board. So that's what we're looking to do. It's been in both wetlands permits since the wetlands permits have been issued. It has been on the approved site plan since the site plan was issued in 2013. So I'm not sure what else I can answer for the board, but I will be happy to do so.
So there had been a temporary easement previously?
There is
Granted?
I don't know if the easement was granted from the information that I have in my, the only position, my understanding from when my client purchased the assets of 70 LLC from the former owner prior to his death, there was an easement plan developed by Putnam Engineering. Now, I do not know if that was filed with anybody, because unfortunately the last guy standing on the project with very little background history of how we got here, other than what I can see on the drawings.
And the easement will be for egress and ingress of?
No, the easement is actual for physical restoration work to clean up that little area,
Right.
that's on the town's property as part of the wetlands restoration. It's full of debris, and they want it restored, debris removed, and then the wetlands planting, they want place to restore that as part of the wetlands of Michael's Brook.
And I'm sure there'll be berm fencing and all that kind of stuff
Yeah,
around
it
where
is,
you guys are-
Rosenman sedimentation control will be, fully
Crosses
active.
over the town's property, so they can't do that without the
Yeah.
permission. But it's been approved.
Great.
Project was
Rich, why don't
approved years
you
ago.
want to come up?
Thank you.
Sorry to interfere. Greg was asking me a question before, and Superintendent Simone had a question. Just to confirm, you're not accessing this through any of the sewer property, you're going to access it through what
Yes,
was the
through-
recycling center, correct? So-
Right, through our property.
Right, so that'll impact you in the future if he was going through our property, Mike, so it's not, so that's a good thing. Greg was asking the question, who's going to describe the easement? That's going to be up to Eugene to provide us all the necessary information, meets bounds, and whatever is needed is pretty much out there, and then we can officiate it and move it forward. And according to Greg,
And a
as long as
sample
the
letter.
board, as long as the board approves it, as superintendent, I can write the letter.
Right, so we have to, Greg, you have to get the easement language before, it's not going to come up next week for a resolution, right?
Well, I
I can draft the easement as a temporary easement for the purposes in the approval. I just need something to exhibit to the easement to show the area that's impacted by the easement. And it's a property, it's actually subject to a permissive, so even though it's temporary. So when you pass it, there's a 20-day period, or 30-day period, I should say. So if I have the description of the area, it's not a big deal to put on next week if I have it. And if the letter, I don't know why they want a letter and an easement, right, but the board can either issue a letter or authorize the engineers.
I'll do one or both. I'll do one or the other, but not both.
Yes, we'll just next week authorize the issuance of the letter, just like we do with everything else. And-
Right, and at the same time, you authorize the execution of the easement. Okay. If I have the description, it's not a heavy lift.
So just say that part you said to me about, this is the final,
Final-
this has been from 2013, they had all their approvals, this is the final step.
Right, the project was approved. This was a condition of final approval, and the prior easement had expired. And I'm assuming they just renewed the approvals, because that's why it's come back to you now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not, it's in connection with an approval the planning board already issued for the project.
Yeah. So the
No,
planning board has
they're
approved
coming
the whole
back
thing.
because I need need the letter, you know?
Yes.
So I can comply with my wetlands permit, so they'll let us do the work.
Yeah, we feel your
So-
pain.
Yeah, so Greg, when someone comes for a temporary easement, is there like a time frame on it, or just whenever they finish the work?
I would ask what the scope of
What-
the timeframe for the work would be.
The,
Probably wouldn't more than be a year or
I
so.
don't think it'll be more than 6 months to a year. It's more of a
Okay.
schedule, it's more of a scheduling
Of a
issue
scheduling
as
thing,
sure.
far as
Yep.
at what point in the project, because we're required, have to build a retaining wall along
Sure.
not our west, along the western setback line to comply with floodplain requirements. It's at what point in the construction sequence, we do that,
Can you get
because
it?
it requires filling, and restore the wetlands.
Perfect,
So
yeah, I
if we
did-
do, what do we do first? And so
Yeah,
it could be
yeah.
very quickly, or it could be, I think from my discussions with the owner, he's thinking he's probably gonna wanna do that towards the tail end of the project, so he doesn't mess it up with his construction. That, that's like, the
Yeah.
wetlands is the last thing he does, so he doesn't mess up the wetlands restoration by any of his construction on the
Sure.
site.
Sure, yeah, no, perfect, thank you.
Yes, you'll
Rich.
get that information to,
Yeah.
Rich, just a question.
Could I just
So
email it to you
the
tomorrow?
the materials that are there, what is it, like old building materials and things like that?
That's being cleaned out?
Yeah.
dead
It's
trees.
debris.
It's the old, it was Tompkins yard, I guess, I don't know what it was prior to that. There was a Tompkins Recycling Center, now it's gonna be called something
Okay.
different. There was old debris, most of that has been cleared out. This is now the next phase, as was mentioned by either Frank or Supervisor Cazzari. They've gotten their approvals through the planning board. They now have a time frame that they have to put a building up or do some work in within the planning board, or they have to get a renewal, right? So if they don't do the work next year or within a year, they have to get a renewal and pay that fee, so it behooves them to get the work done going next year, so it kind of addresses the question. I don't know what's in the back over there. I mean, it's a wetland.
Yeah.
And it's a floodplain. It's the St. Michael's Brook floodplain behind the New York Sports Club over there. That's where we're talking. There was a lot of junk there, kindly speaking. And, it's being removed, and it's going to be a building that whole area is getting revamped down there. So that's going to be one of the buildings.
So as far as we know, it's surface debris. I mean, do we have any concerns about hazardous materials, on our piece?
I don't know. No, I don't believe
Okay.
so. But that's something we're gonna have to talk. I don't think there was any talk about that, so I don't think there is. If they have to remove the soil and do the remediation there, the onus becomes theirs, right? So, on the temporary easement.
But is the scope of the use of the temporary easement just access to other parts of the parcel, or is there physical activity happening on it?
The scope of the easement is, they're rehabilitating part of our
Okay,
wetland
our
on our
property.
property.
Okay,
It's not for access. It's actually at the back end of it. We have another easement, I believe it's either a stormwater or a sewer easement that's over there, that's adjacent, but not impacted by this at all. But I think it's a stormwater, a drain pipe that goes out there.
Yes, it is. It's a 15-inch pipe that goes from across the property to a pipe in the old Route 6.
Right. So that goes all into St. Michael's Brook, so it's drainage from Old Route 6 that goes through there. There is an existing easement. This is not even that. This is a new temporary easement for this wetland remediation. How, why, and when it got into the drawings and how it was part of ours, that was something the planning board decided, you know, when it was done here originally, and before I was sitting in the seat, so.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
great,
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a swamp. It is a swamp. Yeah. What was this one? Oh, yeah, wetlands, yeah. But, next up is our town controller, Mary Ann Maxwell. Consider request to authorize budget revisions September, November 2023, number 2023-05. I remember that swamp when I was a kid.
Thank you. Okay, this is, I'm going to go through, there's quite a bit here, so I'm going to go through the ones where we are either transferring from the fund balance or using a revenue source to cover the expense. Anything other than that is just transfer within the same fund. We did have to transfer money for health insurance cost. The health insurance cost did go up for both retirees and employees in '23 after the '23 budget was adopted, so there are revisions for that. At year ends, we do have to transfer money for postage, and so you're going to see transfers in here within the districts and within the general fund. But I'm just going to cover, just, you know, to save some time, to cover just the ones that we're pulling from the fund balances or the revenue source. Okay, so number one, with the health insurance cost and the regular insurance costs, we're providing and transferring for employee benefits and insurance. We did have to take $50,000 from the fund balance to cover the increase in insurance and regular insurance, liability insurance for '23. Number two, we're providing for a payout of accrued vacation time, a total of $6,923 in the Justice Court Department, Controller Department, and Recreation Office. The equipment reserve, we're providing for the purchase of a pickup truck for the maintenance department. We took $16,271 from the equipment reserve fund balance to cover the purchase of that equipment. We're taking $10,000 from the certiorari reserve to cover certiorari settlements and erroneous assessments. We always get an erroneous assessment from the county, settlement from the county at the end of the year on tax parcels that we had to make adjustments on. So, number five, we're providing and transferring for police overtime cost. Most of the costs came from other funds in the other lines in the police department budget, but we did have to take $5,000 from a revenue line, and that's to cover the lake patrol, increase in lake patrol. Number six, we're providing for the replacement of a damaged license plate reader from an insurance claim. So that was $2,253 that we received from insurance. Number seven, providing and transferring for the computer radio gateway, also from an insurance claim, and equipment rental lease, a transfer. Number eight, we're providing for the purchase of pistols and optics from the 2021 Police Discovery Grant. This came from the fund balance, but it was the grant that we received last year, so it did go into the fund balance, and so that's why we're basically taking it out of the fund balance, but it was money that we did receive last year. On page two, number 9, we're providing for youth programs from revenue received of $15,000. That's in the Park Recreation Department. The other ones here on this page are basically transfers, as I had mentioned, for health insurance cost, miscellaneous expenses, police department, labor, legal expenses, other legal expenses. On page 3, we're transferring from miscellaneous recreation expenses. This is all within the recreation department. In the highway fund, we're providing for the purchase of capital machinery from the sale of retired vehicles. Number 18, we're providing for July storm-related costs, and this is from projected FEMA money. So that's a total of $52,000. As of right now, there's more to come on that. We're still working, we have meetings weekly on FEMA-related damages. And I'll go to page 4. In Lake Secor Park District, we're providing and transfer for district expenses. $3,000 is coming from the fund balance in that district. Number 25 on page 4, we're providing for the equipment and emergency repairs from an insurance claim. We were approved for an insurance claim of $186,000. This is going to districts, Water Districts 5, Water District 6, and Sewer District 4. On page 5, Water District 4, we're providing and transferring for district's expenses. $8,000 is coming from the fund balance. Water District 6, we're providing for equipment and emergency repairs from an insurance claim. Insurance claim was $22,768, and that was for an equipment and emergency repairs. Also, Water District 7, providing for equipment and emergency repairs, $8,881. On page 6, Carmel Sewer District number 4, we do have to transfer $30,000 from the fund balance in this district. This district got hit 2 years ago because of the amount of rain. We did have to pull from the repair reserve and have budgeted over the past couple of years to pay back that money to the repair reserve. This year, we've had a lot of rain again. So far, we seem to be okay. We will have a fund balance at the end of the year. We won't have to borrow again, but I'm just letting you know, we did have to take $30,000 from that fund balance. Sewer District number 6, we're taking $10,000 from that fund balance to provide and transfer for district expenses. On page 7, in our general and special district debt funds, we're taking a total of $15,000 from the fund balance in those districts, and that is to pay down band principal and interest payments. The interest cost has gone up, so we did have to transfer some money to cover the cost of interest on our bands and bonds. Downtown Mahopac Improvement Capital Project, we're providing for the project engineering cost for that, and that's coming from the ARPA funds, $530,000. Lake Mahopac Park District Capital Project, proceeds of borrowing, we're recording the 2023 capital authorization in the Mahopac Park District. That's $300,000. And the other one I wanted to cover is Carmel Sewer District number 4 capital project. We're providing for Carmel Sewer District number 4 waterproofing services cost, also from ARPA funds. And that's $19,370. So there are other ones in here, but as I explained, they're basically transfers within the districts. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Ann.
Sure.
So next up, if Ann wants to join Mary Ann
Yeah,
about
of
our
course.
copiers. So this is accept the proposal for copiers for
Good
all
evening,
the town
Board.
departments.
On September 20th, you authorized myself and Marion to go out for proposals for new copiers. As you know, these copiers are well over 10 years old. They've been very good to us, but it's time to get new copiers. So we established a proposal. It was sent out to 3 vendors, and it's for 8 copiers for the various town departments, including the police department and the recreation department. The 3 vendors did submit proposals, and Marion did an extensive breakdown of the spreadsheets that are before you, and she's going to explain. But the bottom line is that we're asking the board to authorize acceptance of the proposal for Conica. They are our current vendor. They've been very good to us, very professional. The customer service is outstanding. And I'll hand it over to Marion now, and she'll explain the breakdown for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ann. Thank you. So I do have the top copy here is a comparison of all the 3 different vendors, and then you have a more detailed of each proposal. We went through, these are the proposals here. I did not make copies of these, but if anyone wants to look through them, you are more than welcome. But there is a breakdown for each vendor in detail. But I will just go over the top copy. We are looking at, currently we have, I want to say, four color, or 3 color and 5 black and white. We're looking to go to 5 color and 3 black and white. The town clerk's office currently has black and white. They have requested a color. The police department also has black and white, and they have requested a color. So this proposal here does include 5 black and white, 5 color and 3 black and white. The black and whites will be the town hall main, which is right outside the tax receiver's office. That would be a black and white. The building department currently has a black and white. They will continue to have a black and white. If they need to make a color copy, they can go out to the hallway and use a color. And the town clerk, the tax assessor, the assessor will also have black and white. Everything else will be color. Okay. So we got proposals for a total purchase price of the copier. And as you can see on the bottom here in the gray, Konica came in at $49,242. Canon was $58,899, and Ricoh was $64,000. So Konica is the cheapest if we were to buy out the machines, okay? The approximate annual lease, also Konica came in the least expensive, okay, at $14,823. The approximate annual lease for Canon was $16,000, and Ricoh was $19,000. So again, Konica did come out the cheapest if we were to lease it. I am suggesting to lease it. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's, it kind of spreads out the cost over the 4-year period, rather than taking the money from the fund balance. We don't have that kind of money budgeted in the '24 budget. So we will be able to cover the cost of the $18,000, which includes the cost per copy, basically. That's what the maintenance comes in, the cost per copy. So you have a certain cost for color and certain cost for black and white. So we estimated, based on the usage of each machine, that the Konica would come in at $18,286 for the year, per year. Okay?
And Mary Ann, the copiers that we have now, they're done with their lease. Konica will come in
Yes,
and
the lease
remove those?
the lease was up, I want to say, probably 4 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, and the difference also, another thing I wanted to point out, and you could see it on here, with Ricoh and Canon, at the end of the lease, we would have to buy out the copiers at the fair market value. With with Konica, there is no buyout at the end.
We just give them back?
No, we keep them.
Oh, you keep them?
Yes, we keep them. Yes,
Okay.
there is a zero, so per New York State contract, there is no buyout at the end of the deferred payment plan. And this is also off a New York State contract, Konica. So there is no buyout at the end, and I did confirm that with him. I have it in writing that there is no buyout at the end of the lease. It's a zero, we own them basically. Then it turns into a maintenance agreement. Okay, so we were
Okay.
leasing it for the 4-year period, 48 months. And then at the end of the 48, that's it, we own them at that point.
And we don't have
Okay.
that, obviously, with the ones that we have now?
Oh, we did.
We do, we
They've
own
been
them. We
maintained.
own them,
These are
Oh,
yeah.
But
We
what
bought,
are you going to do with them?
Oh, they're going to take
they're gonna take them back, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. They're 10 years old, they're,
That's it, you're
Yeah.
done.
Okay,
yeah,
But where does
They're-
something last 10 years? Right, on my third dryer.
right,
yeah.
right, oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, 5 kids, but still.
and we're, as,
Okay.
as Ann mentioned, we are very happy with Konica. Their support has been great, They've kept these machines together for, with basically Band-Aids, over the past couple of years. But I think we're all pretty happy with the service that they provide.
Yeah,
Okay?
thank you for going through that whole thing. I know
Sure.
how much that was, because I
Yeah,
saw you.
It was, you're welcome to look at them if you want.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So next up is our engineer, Richard Franzetti, P.E., consider request to acknowledge emergency repairs and services for Carmel Water District 8 and Sewer District Number 2. Rich?
Good evening. On November 11th, B&J, the operators of Carmel Water 8, notified the engineering department of a water leak between the water main and curb valve. It was determined that 2 saddles had failed. There's an invoice in the amount of $11,233.96 to make the repair. Budget transfer request for the funds to provide for this expense is needed, but there are sufficient funds in the budget. Carmel Sewer District 2, Duke Road Pump Station, on February 7th, Infomark, the operator of Sewer 2, alerted the engineering department that the pump located at the Duke Road Pump Station was not operating. Infomark had obtained a price. Temporary pump was needed as a lead time for the new pump was 12 to 16 weeks. The work was deemed an emergency at that time because it had caused compliance issues with our Speedies permit. The engineering department had authorized a quote for Quester Associates to purchase and install the pumps and VFDs in the amount of $28,190. It was approved by resolution by the board. The pump was recently delivered and installed in November of 2023. The pump cost an additional $32.85, which will require a resolution for the board for the difference. There was a miscommunication at that time from Infomark and quoting it, so that's why there was a difference in price. So that price should have been the $28,190 plus the $32.85, but it was happening when one of the personnel there was transferring out, and it kind of got lost in the cracks, so.
But didn't we have backups that said the other price?
We did, but again, it was a transition period for one of the main personnel there, the lead operator who's not there with them anymore, and that information wasn't shared with us at that time. So it was their lack of communication, but that particular person's lack of communication. Do I have a third one on there?
Yes.
I don't have it in my memo. Do you have it in front of you, Greg?
Carmel Sewer 2?
Yeah. Sewer District 2, Sam Filter Feed Well Pumps, on September 5th. The operator for Sewer 2 alerted the engineering department that a feed well pump went out of service. There's an email, attaches an email sent to the board regarding the emergency purchase for the 2 pumps. The 2 pumps were installed in November 15th, and the wastewater treatment plant has 3 out of the 5 pumps in operation. There's an invoice in the amount of $69,360 from All Makes Pump and Motor Repair for the purchase and install of these pumps. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this work.
Keep that. We don't need it.
So Rich, I'm sorry, I'm going back to the $28,190 and then the additional money. So maybe in the future, what we do, because I see the vendor number 1, but I don't see the actual backup from the Coaster Associates. So maybe in the future, have them give us almost like a, I don't know, a quote from the actual person who's giving us, you know what I'm saying? So Coaster Associates Inc., we don't have anything from them, we just have something from Infomark saying that that's what it was. So I think that's where a problem is gonna be, or was. So maybe in the future, so this doesn't happen again. I mean, I don't think it's ever happened.
It's never happened before, and
But-
it probably won't happen again. It was probably
But
more of a
let's-
personnel
let's-
issue.
I know, I know. All right.
Hey, Rich, the sewer 2, the sand filter, the one that we had to replace, how old do we think that was?
They're probably from the original plant. They're at least 20, 25 years old. So some of them are older. Why, Greg? It's older than that? From the original upgrade, yeah. They're 2000, so we're talking 20 years, 15 to 20 years old, easily.
Okay, so we got our money's worth.
That's one way to look at it, yes. But yes, we have.
Okay, our 5th item is, again, Richard Franzetti, PE, Town Engineer. Consider request authorize a bond return. Sir?
So this is from the Planning Board. On November 9th, the Planning Board passed a motion recommending full bond return of $350,000 for the Lake Plaza Shopping Center. There's a fully executed bond application form attached, and there's a memo from myself and from Mike Carnazza that was given to the planning board recommending that the bond be released. The work there is, the site work there has been completed. If you've been up there, you pretty much know what's going on, so. Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you, Rich.
See you tomorrow. So, Michael Simone, our highway superintendent. So you are first up. Consider request to authorize the purchase of painting of pavement stripes.
We do this every year, and this year, microphone's off, sir.
Turned it off on me, Rich. Okay. We do this every year and work off the county bid, but we were a little delayed this year in so much as that we were handed a lot of work on July 9th and kind of pulled us away from what we were going to plan to do for the year, and we didn't get back to some of our drainage work. Councilman Schanil knows that we didn't get back there till probably October, in late September and October, and completed that. And,
Yeah, excellent job, by the way.
thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
And,
People didn't
and
barbecue
took
for
us a
the-
while to get our pavers in, and our pavers completed really the week of, just before Thanksgiving. So we needed to get the pavement striped because we did do some roads that had pavement striping on them, and we held back for that. So I'm here looking to get authorization to pay. But it has been done. That's the good thing. So,
And the county bid was twice as much.
oh, yeah, I mean, going back and looking at it, it certainly was. I will tell you that, and I've talked to the superintendent-elect, and I've said that next year you better look at the budget because paint numbers are going up like everything else. You know, it's just, there's stuff that you don't think about until, and if you only do it once or twice a year, and you go, oh my goodness. And again, I also recently painted inside of my house, and something that cost me $40-some last year is now $70 a gallon. It's like, are you kidding me for paint? It's like, so, numbers are going crazy. So,
Yep. And then the other thing you have is request to authorize emergency repairs and services, culvert pipe replacement, Brookdale Road.
Right. This came to our attention on July 9th. Throughout many of the town, a lot of the pipes got washed out and got undermined, and we thought this was just a washout that went around and took out the top of the part of the road, and we went back in and item for'd it and stayed away for a while, and because on the 9th, we had 10 inches of rain in the town. But in the preceding, I think it's 5 weeks, we had another additional 18 inches of rain. And this continued to show up. And when we finally went down and investigated, because you really had to get down into the pipe and really investigate, we found out that this pipe was pretty well shot. 36 oval carries a lot of water that traverses down Archer Road, crosses Brookdale, and this being the only access to the 50 homes back there. We were in the midst of doing the work in Lake Secor, and I got a hold of John Fulchetti and had him bring the Arnold Construction Company out there to give us an idea of a price and what we could do, if we could do this, because to close this road and do the work, first of all, we were running out of time this year to do it, and secondly, it's going to impact all those people. I don't know we can never do it in a day. It would be an impossibility, so you're going to impact them getting in and out of their house, and there's probably 1,500 to 1,800 feet of road back in there with 50 homes on it. So asked them to work a proposal. The proposal you see in front of you would be deemed an emergency work because we could get it done under the FEMA work, as it states here, and get reimbursed for it. Or if we can't get all, we're going to try to get most of it we can. But this work needs to be done. If we were to do it in-house and put pipe in, it would probably cost us $40,000, if not better, just to do it on our own, just to put pipe back in, which I said is probably not the way to go, because I don't know how we're going to get people in and out of that road. So, So I think this is a very good bid, and I'd like to see it awarded, because originally, when we looked at this in October with the engineer Fulchetti, they said they could come back in December. As long as, my belief is that they can probably be here within a month to complete this, which would save us the repair all winter long, because, you know, we might not get just snow, we might get rain, and every time it washes out, this pipe just undermines, and we have to put back material. And the faster we do it, the better off we're gonna be, and we don't lose a road, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm good.
Mike, last you spoke to them, they still can do this within a month?
Last we heard, is we're trying to push it through, so, get it done, so.
Mike,
Yeah, because he just wound down on
Birch.
Birch.
The Birch project, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, they were familiar, it's just down the street, it's not even, it's less than a mile, you know, up Archer Road off of Secor, so.
And Mike, under the special notes, it says that they're not going to be responsible for any restoration or surfaces due to equipment damage. So is there anything over there that they can actually damage that we're going to be on the hook for?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, the only thing that could be would be guardrail, but that's easy to put up and put down, you know, I mean, we'd get it out of their way if they needed to get it.
Okay.
There is no equipment, there's nothing going, we don't have gas lines there, there's nothing going through the pipe just,
Yep.
it's
Okay.
similar to Birch Road. They're gonna line it and pack it all in, and then if in the spring we need to restore around the pipe, that's easily done.
Yeah.
That we can do in hours, and then to blacktop that in if they have to do it, that's not a problem. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yep.
Thank you very much. So can I get a motion to
So moved.
close the meeting? Yeah. We're going to go to executive session. We have personnel with the chief. We have contractual with our town controller and personnel with our highway superintendent. Good night. We'll see you on the
Make a motion to go to executive session.
Oh, motion to go to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Good night, everyone.
See you at 13.